With the rate behaviors pulling in licenses, it feels like there are certain franchises that are guaranteed to end up in Dead by Daylight. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but eventually. So today we're going to take a look at my list of franchises where I really think it's just a matter of time before they join the fog. Let's get into it. We're starting with the most obvious one, Friday the 13th. It's easily the most requested chapter in the history of the game. With the lawsuit cleared up and a clear plan put in place for Jason, including a new model, I would be shocked if he's not already being worked on as an addition to the game. If he's in Fortnite, and now even doing collabs with Angry Orchard, there's no way Jason doesn't get added. He'll probably end up being an anniversary or Halloween chapter in 2026 or 27. He just fits too well. I mean, Jason's basically the blueprint for a DBD killer. This is the one that, like, if I had to put money on one thing coming to the game, I would put my life savings that Jason is coming to the game. Okay, let's move on to something a little more modern. Terrifier. Regardless of how you feel about the movies, you can't deny they've had the most effective marketing in the last decade. Their killer is the first in a long time to break into the mainstream. I seriously don't know what it is that people fall for about the viral marketing stunts about people supposedly passing out or puking in theaters. But Terrifier has ridden that marketing wave right to the money train. I think it's just truly a matter of time, and it's kind of like FNAF where it's like, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I realize that it has a gigantic fan base who will spend money on, you know, cosmetics and all that stuff. So it's eventually we're gonna have Art the Clown in the game. The Predator rumor mill never dies, and by the time this comes out, he may already have been announced. I don't buy into the whole Skull Merchant was supposed to be Predator theory, but what is true is that Behavior has worked with this IP before. They know the property, they touched the license, they've interacted with the rights holders, and adding Predator just makes perfect sense. The design is iconic, the power practically writes itself, and the map potential is huge. A legit K-pop chapter. The Trickster never really accomplished what they wanted to as far as bringing in that hardcore fan base of Korean pop who spend money to support their favorite artists. Like, I don't know much about K-pop, but I know that it seems like the companies do not turn down money. So why not have them in DBD and just accomplish what you wanted to do with the Trickster anyway? And I'm fully aware that a lot of people would hate this, but the K-pop fandom is one of the most supportive and engaged fan bases in the world. They buy merch, they support collabs. If Behavior wants to tap into this market and profit from it, the answer isn't just doing another K-pop inspired killer. It's having actual K-pop stars as survivors. Another way they could go with this is to just try getting the rights for K-pop Demon Hunters. Like, Netflix succeeded in basically every way that Behavior didn't with their venture into K-pop media. So yeah, maybe even just, you know, try getting those rights. But I think the thing that would, you know, ultimately be most successful is to find a K-pop artist with an already dedicated and big fan base and try getting them in the game. Silence of the Lambs, but the book. I think the logical next step for Behavior is they go for different forms of media to bring into the game other than, you know, other video games and movies, are novels and comics. And because this novel was already adapted into one of the most critically successful horror films of all time, this is a safe way to go into that territory. Think about how we have Vecna, but not a Stranger Things version. It'd be just like that, except with Hannibal Lecter. Also, he's a character that can stand on his own, and you don't have to do a map or survivor with him for people to be excited. Amnesia. This game really doesn't get discussed as much anymore, but it was all the rage at one point on the internet. It's a game that more people have watched someone play than played themselves, but it's still pretty legendary and influential in the space. I also have always loved the designs of the Gatherers, and they look like something DBD design team would cook up when they're at their best. People may not be demanding for this chapter today, but nostalgia always hits hard, and Behavior loves tapping into iconic horror game history. The Conjuring Universe. You can love it, you can hate it, but you cannot deny the numbers of it. The Conjuring Universe is one of the most financially successful horror franchises ever, and for a huge percentage of DBD's current player base, especially the younger players, these are the movies that they grew up with. Honestly, if the game stays healthy, I could see multiple chapters happening eventually. I think the franchise eventually will be wrapped up, so they'll want some new ways to make money with the IP before they inevitably just reboot it. It. Outside of Friday the 13th, It is probably the most requested chapter in Dead by Daylight history. Pennywise is one of the most recognizable horror icons in the world, and the Losers Club gives behavior a perfect set of survivor choices. The only reason we haven't seen this chapter yet, I think, is the legal maze surrounding the property. Between book rights and movie rights and, Stephen King, it gets very messy. But as DBD continues to grow and prove that it has the staying power that other horror games don't, there will come a point where adding Pennywise becomes too big to pass up. Another franchise that feels almost tailor-made for Dead by Daylight is The Evil Within. Fans have asked for this one for years, and it makes perfect sense. The killer options are incredible, the Keeper with his safe head design, Laura with her spider-like movement, and even Ruvik with his reality-bending powers. Any one of them would fit right into the fog. Sebastian would be an easy survivor pick, and the series has no shortage of atmospheric locations that could be amazing maps. Bethesda and Tango have shown they're open to collaborations, so this just feels like one of the most natural fits left from the video game world. It's surprising it hasn't happened yet, but I think it's only a matter of time before it does. Okay, this last one's not inevitable, but it's just something I personally would love to see. Serial Experiments Lain is one of the weirdest and most fascinating pieces of media ever created, and it's only getting more and more popular every year. I swear it might be the most video essayed anime or any piece of media on YouTube. You can literally know everything about it without ever watching a single episode at this point. Imagine a map in that surreal, dreamlike art style, and imagine a killer whose power glitzes the survivor's perception of reality and visually distorts and audio bugs, teleport illusions. Done right, it could be one of the most creative and best chapters in the game's history. It also lines up with behavior wanting to expand beyond just movies and games into more, unusual and unexpected IPs. Will this ever happen? Probably not, but it would be absolutely incredible if it did.